Knowing your enemy and having the knowledge and ammunition to fight are the first steps to fortifying your farm against a disease invasion. Hi, my name is Joshua Sayler. I am a senior member in the Feathers, Hairs, and Hooves 4-H Club. This is my 7th year in 4-H and my 4th year in the PACO project. In my demonstration titled, Fortify the Farm, I'll be explaining and demonstrating for you the importance of biosecurity, measures to take to prevent infection, and how to screen for diseases. Biosecurity means doing everything you can to prevent an infectious disease entering your farm. Through people, animals, equipment, and even vehicles. It also means doing everything you can to prevent a disease leaving your farm. The first step to protecting your farm is knowing diseases and how they are transmitted. The most common way that they are transmitted are abscesses, blood, urine, feces, colostrum and milk, and even across the placenta. Let's take a quick look at 5 diseases that every goat owner needs to be aware of: Johne's, CL, Q fever, and Brucellosis. Johne's is a highly contagious viral bacterial disease that goats are susceptible to both the cattle and sheep strain of this disease. It infects the internal intestinal wall like Crohn's disease in humans. Symptoms are diarrhea, decrease in milk production, and eventual starvation. Johne's has a very long incubation period with no treatment or cure, and usually means that they become infected when they are very young, through their mother's milk or by eating infected manure, and will not show signs until they are older. Now let's talk about Cassius Lymphatitis, also known as CL. Cassius Lymphatitis is a zoonotic disease, which means humans can get it. Both sheep and goats can become infected at any age, and once infected will always be infected. Symptoms of CL are internal and external abscesses, like shown on this card, around near the lymph nodes. The pus of a CL abscess is highly contagious, which means you should be extremely careful. This disease can be brought into your farm just by a simple fly, carrying the bacteria from your neighbor's farm. Caprine arthritis encephalotitis, abbreviated CAE, is a contagious viral disease and is a member of the lentivirus family. It cannot be transmitted to humans, but sadly, it is a fatal disease for your goat, which is really sad. It is commonly spread through their mother's milk and among adults through contact with bodily fluids. An infected goat may get swollen joints, have seizures, weight loss, and even experience paralyzation. Now, let's talk about Q fever. Q fever is mainly spread through aerosolized bodily fluids, like an aborting kid, like through amniotic fluids. It can also be shed through milk and feces. It is another zoonotic disease, so you still really need to be careful. Q fever causes abortions, infertility, and mastitis, which can make diagnosis very difficult if you are not breeding your livestock, because then the symptoms won't be there. Brucellosis. Brucellosis has different strains that affect goats, dogs, sheep, cattle, swine, and even camelids. Camelids such as camels and alpacas. A biosecurity plan is a series of simple management practices that are very easy to implement into your daily routine. to that will help stop the spread and delivery of diseases. The most practical and low-cost management practices have the biggest reward. Assessment is the first and one of the most important steps in biosecurity. Let's take a look at all the entrances and exits on your farm. Where do vehicles drive and where do they go? Who comes to visit your farm and see your animals? If it moves, it can carry disease. Vehicles and visitors are very effective modes of transportation. The single biggest biosecurity risk is adding a new animal onto your farm. Because when you bring a new animal onto your farm, who knows what it's bringing with it? Anytime you get a new goat, you should isolate it for 30 days before adding it to your herd. This gives you time to check for parasites, do biosecurity tests, and wait and see if your goat becomes sick within those 30 days or shows any signs of illnesses. This isolation is very important. Keeping a new animal isolated is the most effective part of biosecurity. It is always important to keep that rule of the 30-day isolation to any new animal, no matter how healthy they may appear. The next effective measure to take to prevent disease is sanitization. Many diseases can be introduced simply by equipment, shoes, and clothes onto your farm. On our farm, we have a sanitization solution. We ask visitors that come to please step into the sanitization solution that we have in front of our gate. It uses 1 tablespoon of bleach and a gallon of water. This kills any viruses or bacteria that may be on their shoes. If they have had any contact with goats that day, we ask them to change their clothes before they come. Before they touch any of our animals, we ask them to please wash their hands. That way, no diseases can be transmitted. Keeping stalls clean, birthing stalls sanitized, and our buckets clean are all effective ways to reduce the chances of your animals getting a fatal disease. The old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, is very true. Prevention is a very effective way to prevent a disease. Biosecurity Plans is another way to support your goat's immune system by giving it yearly vaccines, such as CDT. Do routinely and exams for major parasites, and always provide fresh water and make sure their pens are clean. Make sure they always have hay accessible, so when they are hungry they can eat. And when you do all of these things to help to boost their immune system, it makes it harder for diseases to take over. Prevention of a disease is a community effort. So when we prevent diseases, it's protecting our neighbor. When our neighbor protects diseases, it protects us. Because if they come over to our farm, they're bringing stuff with it. But if they practice biosecurity, they aren't bringing anything with them. So immediate traffic on your yard is important to maintain good pest control and sanitization of your shoes. Clothes and hands, pest control. It's always important to sanitize your shoes, clothes, and hands before contacting your goats are all important parts of biosecurity prevention. Remembering the plan is a process that we just started, and we add more as we go along and improve it. In conclusion, I would like to remind you that it is important to know your diseases and how they are transmitted. Are they transmitted to the blood, feces, urine, colostrum, and even to the placenta? Knowing how to protect you, how to sanitize your stuff. Knowing all the facts about your diseases. And knowing the 4 essential steps to creating a good biosecurity plan. I obtained my information from my 4-H leaders, Dr. Brookwicks, the USDA, Animal Health, Farm Health Agricultural Program at the University of Vermont. Are there any questions? If there are no further questions, this concludes my demonstration. Thank you.